Happy Sunday, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Woodbine Racing Live. My name is Elisa Blow, joined as always by Hall of Famer Randy Waples as we celebrate Wild Card Weekend here at WOMO. Big day today if you're a fan of the Buffalo Bills. I know in my area, I live in Niagara Falls, there wasn't a soul out on the streets starting about 12 o'clock, and when I left the house at 3, you could shoot a cannon off, Randy, and not hit anybody. So it's a really big deal that the Bills won today, and lots of great football games, of course, taking place with the wild card events happening. But the storyline here is a completely different story because A, we have great weather, so we feel a lot better for Evan.
I'll say.
And B, we have this carryover in the Pick 5, which we've been talking about since last night because we had some wacky winners on the program last night, and thus we have the carryover, which is good. It's more than $44,000. So hopefully everybody did their, their work, got their handicapping done, and they're ready for a good one. It is windy though tonight, but we won't hopefully be having any of that wacky weather.
No, I hope not. I mean, like Evan was saying, so last night there we had started with the real bad snow.
Rain
Yeah,
first.
rain, then snow, and then thank goodness the fog rolled in. Because if the fog didn't roll in, then we would have had to watch the volcano erupting because we had everything last night. We had it all,
It was
all the weather.
so bad at one point in time that we actually lost the GMAX system. So
Yeah.
we didn't even know
The
what was
chiclets were
going on at
gone.
all.
Yeah.
But it's all done now. We had a couple of wacky winners. We had a horse that paid over $100 to win that kind of snuck into the
Ginger
win
Tree
photo.
Finney?
Yeah, that was one of the weird ones.
Right out of the 10-hole to boot.
Yeah, exactly. That was one of the wacky ones. But then, of course, we're going to show you some of the replays from yesterday, but we can't show you too much.
No.
Because there's really not a lot to see. We didn't even get a chance to see these horses until basically they were, what would you say, 16th of a mile out from the wire?
Basically,
Yeah.
that's about it. That's all you were able to see.
But the guy who had the good night, Louis Watt, he had the hot hand. 4 winners on the program, and he won the last race on the card with Dusty Lane Levi. That's a horse that a lot of us thought could repeat, and he did. Jody Cullen had a good night last night. She won a few races on the program. And look at these payouts. Ginger Tree Finney, that's the one we're talking about, paid $101.50. We had a carryover for the Pick 6. We have the carryover for the Pick 5, and then, of course, we have the carryover for the Jackpot High 5 as well.
Yeah, no, it's carryover palooza. But no, big night by Louis. You know, I think he did a good job. I'm not going to say that I could see what he was doing out there, but I think he did a good job. And you know, like we said last night too, you know, I mean, just the fact that the torture that these guys put themselves through to do this, you know. But you can see, if you didn't believe us, this is the weather that we had last night, and trust me, this Mohawk production crew are geniuses.
It looks good there, doesn't it?
That's right. They're using a different, like the lower pan shot on this. On the upper pan, you couldn't see anything.
Yeah.
So this is Tells on a Roll, heading into the winner's circle for the Fillies and Mares Open. Jody Cullen and Travis getting the job done with her. Boy, she's
$15 winner too.
back good again.
That was now. Here's the horse that I fell in love with last night, and that is Mr. Saturday Night, who is a New York bred. So I get it now, live from New York. It's Saturday night.
Yeah.
But this is a really cool new addition to the Dave Maneri horse. When we saw him warming up on the track, and then what we saw from him, especially his. Just his attitude, like, look,
He's very chill.
He's really chill. He got in behind the gate, and he just looked like la-di-da, like nothing was going to faze him. But then as soon as the wings opened up, he put his game face on. He has a beautiful fluid motion, just a gorgeous way of going. And you talked to his groom after the races as well.
Yes, yeah, that makes it even worse there too, because she was telling me there he's probably the biggest suck that she's ever looked after in her life. She said all he really wants to do is rest his head on her all day and all, you know. I mean, that's so I mean, you get those types at times, you know. And I'm not going to say that it's rare, but it's a little bit more rare to get one that's that sucky at that level. You know what I mean?
And a big guy too.
Yeah,
I mean,
like
he's quite a big
right,
horse.
Exactly.
So imagine that head on your
Yeah,
shoulders
yeah.
having a nap. I mean, you're basically, you need to sit on something. You know, I love those types of horses though. Like those, and to me they're generally geldings. Those guys that basically spend all their time, if they're not training, they're sleeping. You know, and they're conserving their energy for race time.
They're smart.
They're smart. and he is really neat. So looking forward to watching him come back again next Saturday.
Absolutely. I got a feeling you're putting him on top.
Oh yes, never again will he sit in second. You know what else was interesting? One of the winners that we saw yesterday, just wanted to bring it up quickly, the Xeron horse that won yesterday.
She's got it all.
She's got it all. And you know, Rick came in to chit chat with us as he normally does, and he mentioned she only has a few more races left to go, and then she's heading off to the breeding shed.
And I think he told me that he's looking at Captain Treacherous.
That's who he said.
Yeah.
So that's exciting.
Interesting.
Well, it's that time of year, right, Randy?
Yeah,
I mean,
for
you
sure.
can maybe
And she's
get a couple more.
She's done enough.
Oh, she's done enough.
Yeah.
But you can get a couple more races into these horses and then get them bred in early February, right? So those are some good mares we're going to miss here on this track.
There's no doubt about that. But in 2 or 3 years, we get to see her offspring, which will be nice.
Yes, that will be a lot of fun too. Okay, we've got to get into this handicapping because we have this early pick 5 carryover, which is critical to talk about here today. And that carryover is more than $44,000. Last we checked, producer Mike said there was $25,000 in new money in that pool as well. Plus, we give you the $75,000 guarantee. So, like, this is a phenomenal wager to play, and it has a low takeout rate as well. So, plenty of different reasons to take a look at this early pick 5. Now, we'll start it off with fillies and mares in for $8,000, and we do have some lower end claimers on tonight's program, which, you know, sometimes the one you expect is going to win doesn't, and it's the wacky horse that pops up. So you're going to have to take a look deep in these races, but just a smaller group of 6 to compete in the opener. We're on the pace for the first, and you and I completely with different opinions here in this race. You're very interested in this 4-horse Stay Pumped.
Yeah, that's the route. Where did you go?
Well, let's talk about yours first, and then we'll talk about mine. You show me yours, and then I'll show you mine, okay?
So Stay Pumped is the way that I'm going to go. We're going to show you the replay of her, but we're going to show you the replay from November the 3rd, way back. So her last 2 starts, the last one, December the 16th, or not the last one, December the 16th, she races at London. Decent enough effort, comes first over, spends a lot of time on the outside, ends up with a decent third. She was bet down as the favorite, but, you know, just didn't get the job done. So then she doesn't resurface again on our track till January the 4th. So a little bit of a gap there already. To me, that would weaken her a little bit for her next start. Then she draws the 9-hole to boot. So he doesn't really do a whole lot with her last start other than she comes from 28-4. I think what I would consider it to be is a tightener, almost like a good training mile into her. So now let's take a look at the replay from November the 3rd, where she had the rail, where she was in the exact same class as what she is now. Now this one's fillies and mares, 8,000 for non-winners at 5,200, purse of 7,000. It's basically the same. It's a condition claimer that she wins, and she gets a good trip here by J.R. Plant. He bombs her from the rail, puts her into the 2-hole, and she really races well here. She is able to track down, which horse is it that she beats here? She beats, My Only Sensation. My Only Sunshine is coming on the outside, who's been the absolute scourge of this class, and she can't reach to her. You know, she puts a good race in, but she's not reaching to her. So Stay Pumped, I had her up on top. Brady Gallier, I thought we'd get a little bit of a price with him, kind of a new driver on the circuit. He drove her last week, but he's not going to be here, and we're picking up Louis Waugh. Not a bad pickup if you're looking for a driver.
He's in the card, but not here early.
Right.
So maybe he has a commitment somewhere else. But yeah, you get Louis Waugh, and like you said, not a bad pickup there. I went to the 6, Randy. I'll be a chalk-eating weasel in the first race on the program because, as I said to you yesterday, and you brought this up as well with the board that you showed of all the Cullen entries for the weekend. They had a good day yesterday, 3 winners on the program, including Tells on a Roll that we saw win in the recap. But she's got some other live horses on tonight's program. And I was saying as well, like, if I'm torn between 1 or 2 or even 3 horses, I tend to gravitate towards whatever Jody's sending out right now because they're live.
Yeah, they're very live, no doubt about that. I got her in for second, so I see where you're going with that.
So here's the thing. We're going to slowly put together like a combination pick 5 ticket here. And so with Randy using the 4, obviously we're going to use the 4, we're going to use the 6. But should we go, is it as cut and dry as the 4 and the 6, or would you want to include someone else? Like, for example, what's your thoughts on this 1 horse, Jules Diamond Eyes? I mean, this one's picking up checks lately.
Yeah, the only thing, my only caution with this one is like, so DA Temptation, I like this one because this is probably one of her first times that you're ever going to see her in 8,000 condition claimer. Stay Pumped. She races in here, but she's won a stay, one of these 8,000 condition claimer. The only problem that I have a little bit with Jewel Diamond Eyes is the fact that she's raced in these a couple of times and she hasn't won one yet, and that kind of bothers me. You know, we're obviously looking for wins. So my opinion is on win candidate, I'd rather go with one that's proven that they can win, or one that's on a huge drop down, which is the one that you like, DA Temptation. Her
So
last
we've
start
covered
was
the
an
two then.
optional. That's what I would
Yeah.
go.
So
I would go
let's-
4-6.
Okay, so we're going to go 4-6.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're putting that one, banking it for now, and then we'll put the ticket together. All right, let's go to race number 2. Second half of the early double. Now, this time we're looking at claimers again. They're in for $20,000 down to $18,000 tags. And changes, just the hobble change. Oh, a couple changes, sorry. The hobble change for the 2, Better on Ice, who goes from 55 to 56, and then put Drury on the 6, that being Remember the Beach. Now, Remember the Beach is the horse that I think a lot of people are going to gravitate towards because that last race was a good one. I mean, this horse was in against Code Cracker. Code Cracker, in my opinion, you know, after watching that replay, was just too good. You weren't going to get to him that day. So simply, this guy was best of the rest.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And the thing that I don't like about Remember the Beach is I've yet to see him win. I've seen him get lots of juicy trips where he should have won. And the one time he almost got there second by a neck. But he never seems to be able to stick his nose out in front. And look at his last year summary, Lisa. 39 starts, 3 wins.
Yeah,
less
win
than
shy.
10%. You know what I mean? So I don't really, you know, but my only concern here, though, is that you could almost go all in this race. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just, I don't know, like there's really nobody to really lay your finger on. I myself used 5 numbers in this race. I like Better on Ice because this is going to be third start Lasix. The hobbles are going to be moving out on him. He's recently moved into Greg McNair's barn, but he still hasn't won a race. And again, 2 for 22 last season, you know. Tell it, Russ, tell it. Now, this is the reason I'm using him up on top. And the reason is go right down to the bottom of his card. Elisa, this was like he's just recently come back last year. He only had 3 starts last year as a 4-year-old, and these are basically his lines down here on the bottom from a year ago when he was racing in optional 40 claimers and winning them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And now he's recently come back. They started him in the 20,000. He finally win one of those. Third start out. Then they moved him into the non-winners of 2,500. You know, no claimer on that one. Had an okay kind of a mile in there. But the horse that beat him, Highland Beach Lover, we watched him win again last night. I think it was in that crappy track. So to me, the only one that really is showing to me that he wants to win races, if we want to keep the tickets skinny. 7. Where did you go?
Well, see, I went 6-7, but
Okay.
and the other thing too that you bring up with this Tell It, Russ, Tell It is something we brought up last night for Tells on a Roll. Just how much luck the Cullens have had with these one sired by Tell It Like It Is, right? So you know they found a sire that they love, and they kind of keep going back and getting
state
more.
too, Indiana.
And a state, exactly. And I haven't seen this horse in person, but most of the ones that we see that are by that sire are pretty leggy big horses.
Yeah, I think he's the same. Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen him too. You know, it's been, but I do like the horse in here, and you like the 6. I mean, you know, if you handicap it by trip, you would almost see Travis and now Jonathan Drury driving the 6. Going out of there as a team together.
True.
Remember the Beach lands on his back. I can just see Tell It, Russ, Tell It kind of getting things his own way. I don't see much of a tussle for him in that race.
So should we narrow it down to say 2, 6, and 7?
That's what I would.
Include the 2 just because of the Lasix. I mean, he did improve.
He did.
Second start on Lasix,
Yeah.
which is your move. Now it's third start on Lasix. Dougie's back with him again tonight.
Yeah, and he's not in as tough. I mean, last week he had Code Cracker to deal with. You know what I mean? So he's not in against there. Yeah, I would
We're
go
changing
that.
the hobbles.
I would go 2, 6, and 7.
Okay, so let's go 2, 6, 7 for race number 2. And then let's flip over to the third. Now, the third is the feature for the night tonight. This is the open trot. What's interesting is that last week, if you watch the open trot, there were 8 horses in it. And this week, there's only 6 that we have to handicap. But Hasty Bid, look, the replay's gorgeous, and you are going to show us the replay because I thought in the notes I made where it was just perfectly timed. Like, you want to see a great trip, you're going to see one when you take a look at the trip that Hasty Bid got last start out. But here's my slight concern, and I think a lot of other people might be saying the same thing. Mom and Dad aren't here. They are in Mexico, sitting on a beach, probably watching this with a pina colada in their
Yeah,
hands.
probably.
So you get a new driver tonight in Billy Davis Jr., and Paige is not here with the horse. So, it's just consistency. That's all I'm thinking about. And it is the fact that look, it's not James, it's not Paige. These are the people that this horse is used to. Is that going to make him maybe a bit of a horse to beat or a vulnerable favorite?
It could be. It could be. It's kind of like your dog. You don't come home to your dog gets upset, right?
That's
you know what
true.
I mean?
But mine's also much more better mannered when I'm not around. So now, and I was thinking too, like all those times Mom and Dad went on vacations, I pretty much threw a party and didn't exactly listen to the rules. And I don't know if Hasty Bid's going to be the same.
Listen, I agree with the way that you want to look at it, that my thinking is this: he's the best horse in the race. That's as far. I just don't see anybody being able to take him down. I mean, let's face it. We're going to see this replay. This is a month between starts. December the 7th, January the 4th. A month in between starts. And Billy's drove this horse. You can see back down November the 2nd. He ended up finishing second in the Open with him, but that was when the horse was first starting to come back into this Open. But he come a last half in 54-4, and like I said, James, he's got such a lethal kick on the end of it. Billy's watched him race. He's drove him before. I think he knows exactly what to do with him, and that's my whole thing. Is I don't see anybody in here beating him. Safe Conduct was really, really good. Big move on the end of it, but I don't see him being enough of a threat to push out from the rail that Hasty Bid, who has wicked gate speed, and New Rules won't go out of there at the exact same times. I say that Hasty Bid, the worst case scenario, he lands third, and he still is able to move him at the head of the lane. So I honestly, looking at this one, even though on my ticket I went 3 deep in here, I think that you could single it if we're looking to stay cheap.
You really think so?
I do.
See,
I think he's the best horse in the race, and that's all there is to it. He's raced recently. You know what I mean? His last win in the Open, he missed a month. Now he's coming back in 7 days. I just think there's too much pointing that he can win.
All right, but I'm going to put a fly in the
Play
ointment.
devil's advocate.
I think I want to put New Rules in there
You
too.
do that.
Just in case, because
You big bully.
Well, what's New Rules got that Hasty Bid doesn't have? His regular connections, right? So he's
That's
got
right.
Travis, who's been driving him regularly. Dave's going to be here with him.
His
It's
barn's
all
good.
the regular.
Mary's barn's good.
Exactly. Barn had a really big win yesterday in the Open.
I think that's logical.
Let's do 2-3.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then that way, if Hasty Bid wins, you can be like, I told you so. We should have signaled it. But I just want to be there just in case. Just in case
you
I
can
turn
say,
the tables
"Told you
on
so."
you. Because really, New Rules look pretty good.
He's the
I
one.
mean, one more jump
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
there you go. The Hasty Bid, like I said, just perfectly timed last start out. Let's go to the 4th.
Big scratch in this one.
Yeah. So Nazy's out. That's the Cullen horse, and that's a vet scratch from this race. So you're going to have to maybe do a little bit of rejigging with your handicapping. But I know Ghostly Casper. You know Ghostly Casper. We've seen him here over the years. He's been a fun horse to watch, and I just think that now that we're here in this non-winners of 6,100, like we're in a great spot where we can get what I wrote down to be a confidence booster. Like, let's just get a win here and see if we can, start to roll with him again. I think that Bella Cavella, she's consistent and she's reliable. We've seen her every year, and she tries for whoever has her, whoever's driving her. And then what about Patriarch Hanover? I mean, they are making a shoe change here tonight, taking the flip-flops off and moving over to steel.
Yeah, I mean, and a few of the handicappers have been used. They used Patriarch Hanover up on top. I think Garnet used him last week up on top. I'm not even using him tonight. I know he's getting the flops to the steel. He should like this class, but sometimes Patriarch Hanover, he takes him a few starts to kind of get the mojo happening again. And I know he raced good a couple of those, but I'm not sure if a lot of that wasn't the McNair drive. Putting him down into a nice pocket trip, following a helmet tight. I don't even know if the horse really knew he was in a race, but for him to go out and do the work, I don't really see it just yet, especially with some of the company that he's keeping in here tonight. Originally, I was going to go 2-8 in this race, but now 8 is scratched. Nazy's gone, right? Which leaves me with Ghostly Casper. So when I found out that, I ended up going 2-7. Cover band, I ended up throwing in to back him up.
Him in
but
too.
honestly, Elisa, again, I honestly think that we can single Ghostly Casper.
I would agree with you there.
Let's single
so
Ghostly Casper.
We'll single him here in this race because same thing. I had Nazy in my top 4. Horse comes out and I toss the 7-horse in cover band as well. And here's one of the reasons. It's Dave Maneri.
Yes,
Exactly.
exactly.
That's all you really need to
That's
tell
it,
me.
exactly.
It's
I
kind of
think
like
that
when you see Jody Cullen, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, okay, so we're going to key
Ghostly Casper
in
and
the
put
4th
our
race.
hopes on Benoit Baerja.
Which means we can have a little fun here in the 5th race. We can hit the all button if we want in this race. And
That's
this
the one.
might be the one
This is
to
the
do
one.
it. Right?
Yes.
Push all your chips in
This
here.
is it.
Because we're on the trot for race number 5.
Yeah.
Not winners of 15,000 in the last 4. There is a scratch in this race. The judges scratch at the 2, distance learning. Now, we have a few things we need to talk about in this race. Couple things. First of all, we got a horse who's been really popular in the claim box. That's the one, Devil's Arch. And the horse was reclaimed into the McGuire barn. I always like to see that, right? They lost the horse. Carmen Osiello had him, and then they went right back in and took him, and they've brought him back here today. I get he's in a little bit of a tougher class, but I think they don't, here's the thing. They're saying if you want him, you got to give me 70 G's for him. Quebec Hanover, you and I have seen this son of Wallner over and over and over again, right? He can be good on his best days. He can be awesome, and then here and there he can throw in. He can be a little
The old stinker.
Exactly. Handsome Sebastian. We have seen him since the beginning, and he is a horse with an opinion, right? And it has to be it's kind of the way he's handled. He has to be driven a certain way. And then you have this 9-horse, Manoa, for Etzel, who's been doing fantastic things. And here's my question on this Cullen horse, Mr. Bluebird. Last week, they make a shoe change on this horse. They put the flip-flops on, from what I recall, right? And when they did that, they got a whole different horse. So do the shoes really make that much of a difference? Do we consider this guy a major player in here with the flops on? What do we do?
Well, first off, I want to give you a big pat on the back for noticing that. Thank you very much. That's my whole ticket tonight is basically built around Mr. Bluebird because of that, that shoeing change from last week. That's so cool that you picked up on that. So, he got flip-flops for the first time since he's been in Cullen's barn that I can remember last week. And look at the difference what happened. They actually bet him down on that night too. And, he's not able to get the job done on Manoa. But see, that's the problem with maybe not going with the all button in here, because Manoa is the fly in the ointment right now. He's getting really, really good, and the thing is how good can he get? So I think that Mr. Bluebird is only going to get better and better with these shoes back on. Again, wicked eye there, Elisa. But Manoa is also in here now. The thing is I don't know if I really trust these two either. Devil's Arch has been racing good, but has the rail, up class, like you said. Now Quebec Hanover, another fly in the ointment, because for some reason or other, Louis is the only guy that can get this horse off the wings. Everybody else drives him. He's a bit quirky, right? He gets away like 4th or 5th. Louis can just buzz him. I don't know why that is, but he can. So, I mean, if you wanted to leave a couple out, we can do that, but I'm looking at maybe alling it.
That's what I think, because we have if we didn't have the key in the 4th race, it would be different.
Right.
But we could afford to hit the all button here in this race, and then if somebody like dealing with Dewey pops up for the win, then we're okay.
100%,
We're covered.
right.
I can remember too Quebec Hanover being a horse that I think was quite frustrating at one point in time for Mr. Baerjan, and even him saying there was something. It was something about changing the bit. He is a big horse too, and you see him as well. It's funny too. Like Cindy Horner was so excited to see Handsome Sebastian back, because remember he can be he was a little quirky back in his day.
Yeah.
But what a gorgeous animal. We didn't talk about the other Baerjan horse in this race, that being our Peaky Blinders, and lately he's been picking up bits and pieces.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. Like, I didn't put him on my ticket because Louis was down on him, and he decides to go with Quebec Hanover for Benoit. So Benoit picks up Tyler Borth, but our Peaky Blinders could win this race.
Exactly.
So you know what I mean? So that's why, like I said, I think the safe way to go is hit the all button.
All right. So if we hit the all button and we've played all the horses that we've talked about, We do have that scratch here with the 2 horse, so we're going to hit the all button and give us 9 horses in this race, and we'll show you our ticket and just what it's gonna be. So we're going to play it for, you can play it for whatever you want. You want to play it for 20 cents, you want to play it for $1, but we'll show you what it costs you for 20 cents. So it's what now, Mike? $21.60 to play it for a 20 center. And that's, to me, that's a fun ticket for not a lot of money.
Yeah. Why don't we narrow it down a little bit more?
Well,
though,
you want to make it cheaper?
No, well, just a little bit.
Okay.
On that all button. There's got to be a couple in here that we can toss
You could
off.
toss?
Okay. So let's.
Famous last words.
Yeah. Let's toss away. I say we toss the 4. And I say we toss the 10.
10. Okay.
How about
we
that?
toss the 4 and we toss the 10, and this is on tape. Everybody knows this. So if the 4 or the 10 jump up and win this race, then we know who decided to take them out. You're gonna get a text any minute now from Jackie Moe saying, "Can you took my horse out?" All right, so we'll take the 4 and the 10 out.
Yeah.
Now we're at $16.80.
Yeah.
So under $20 if you want to play along. That's
Yeah,
a fun ticket.
That's a fun ticket.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's do that.
All right, now that's our ticket. You've sent in a ticket for tonight as well. We're going to show that now, I think, so people can see your early pick 5 ticket too. Now, you've done some fancy dancing in your early pick 5. Let's go through it.
Yeah, I bookended in the first, and singled in the first, singled in the 5th. So it's a bookend for me. So Stay Pumped is going to be my single in the first. If I can get through there, I got great coverage in race number 2. I got everybody in there but the 1 and the 3. In the 3rd race there, I go 3 deep. I use the Safe Conduct, Hasty Bid, and New Rules. And in race number 4, I went 2-7. I think you could basically single Ghostly Casper, but I was originally going 2-8. I will go 2-7 in there. And then in race number 5, it's a single of Mr. Bluebird. And that's the big thing, is he's going to have to come through, get a good trip and come through. But I think that this is a start of something happening here. And, we'll have to see if the flip-flops lead to even a better race this time.
And $30 is the price if you want to play along with that for $1. Here's ours one more time just to take a look at it. So these are always fun. We do these over on the Thoroughbred show quite a bit, like putting together a live ticket and kind of a consensus ticket. So we've talked this one through, and we think we might be onto something for only $16.80. You can play along.
And like
with
I said,
us.
we're looking at a carryover.
Yeah, exactly.
We're not looking at a $75,000 pool here. I think that we're going to be looking at we could be looking at anywhere between $1.50 to $200,000.
I'm not sure if I saw that correctly, and I know Mike's going to let me know, but I think the new money looked like it was about $40,000. Is that what
44.
No, that's the carryover.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm talking about new money.
Oh, the new money that's already in.
40,000 is the new money.
Nice.
So you got that plus your, the 44 from last night. So we're already looking good. All right, let's get into the back half of the card. To be really, really honest, I thought that the first half of tonight's program is tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you get into the back half, and it looks. In my opinion, it's a little bit. I don't want to say easier, but it's just it just flows a little better. Let's put it that way. So if we go to the 7th race on the program, the 7th race, we're on the pace here, and we're looking at lower end claimers. And that's what we generally see this time of season. But here's Let's Get Pickled, who is he's so popular in the claim box, but he's going back and forth from Lalonde to somebody else, then back
Gerard
to Lalonde.
Demers.
Yeah, he just keeps, and he might even move again tonight. You never know. But I had some questions about him, Randy. I thought he looked like a bit of a tired horse on January the 4th after doing a lot of the work, right? And I just wondered if my note on him is he a better closer instead of being a horse that you might send?
I think he races pretty good either way, but the whole thing that it comes to, Lenny Lalonde Jr. gets along really, really well with him. Gerard Demers gets along really, really well with him. But you know who really gets along with him even better than them two guys is Jody Jameson. This is his drive, this horse. He gets along with this horse absolutely phenomenal. Probably better with this horse than anybody in his life. He knows this guy. Every time that he sits up behind him, he takes a lot of support, and he finds him these unbelievably wicked, nice trips. It's never a power drive, but if he has to, he can power drive him too. You know, that's the big thing that he's got going for him tonight is the return of Jody Jamieson on him. It's going to make him ultra tough in here. But the replay that we're going to show you is the 4 horse. This is a 5-year-old Always Be Mickey out of a Rock and Roll Hanover mare. And this is a horse that's just gradually getting better and getting better. Now, Let's Get Pickled, 63,000 last season, 7 wins. Always Be Sweet at 6 wins and $62,000 made. Not much difference between these two guys. He got a really sweet trip here last week by Brett McDonald. He was in town and drove this guy, and this guy come up with a big effort. I mean, he is the easiest of winners. Brett calls himself off right here. This is the end of it right here. I mean, look how much more distance he's got to go to the wire, and there is nobody. Look at him. He is absolutely shut down at this point. So I think that Always Be Sweetest, I'm going to go right back to him. Travis Henry is going to be picking up what I think to be a very live drive. If you look way down on the bottom, Travis drove him twice for trainer Ron McDonald and had a win both times.
Here's my little side note on this horse, and the reason why I use this horse up on top. Number
he
one,
reminds you of me because of the sweetest.
It might be a little bit of that, Randy, but also
it
it's the way he won, like you said, shut down.
Yeah.
There's no reason why he can't repeat. But here's my little side note that people don't really know. This owner, Shen Go, came through a program that I was operating, which was a new owners program, where I, kind of took people under my wing individually, helped them out to get them into the racing game, whether it be standardbred or thoroughbred. And Shen is one of my big success stories.
Oh, wow.
So for him to be here racing at Mohawk, because I know he races at a lot of the Bs, for him to be here with a horse winning at Mohawk, I think that's a really big deal.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Especially when he had 0 horses when we started, and now look at him, he's winning races all over the place. It's a nice success story,
It is,
right?
absolutely. Yeah, you got to feel good about that one.
Yeah, I do. You know who else I'd like to see, and I'll be rooting for him tonight, is Papiamento. He's just a cool horse.
He is.
I mean, he's an old pro. He's won, 53 races in his career. He knows more than anybody else here.
Yeah, he is. Now, one other quick note there. You don't often see that on our circuit there, but Midnight Mood. January the 2nd, January the 4th, and then right back into go again.
Yes.
You don't often see racehorses race 2 days out, 2 days apart, but it was a good one. Now, the reason I point that out, I got him in for 3rd, but the reason I want to point that out is because, like I said, it doesn't happen often, but sometimes it is a huge advantage.
Yes.
You got this horse and he is fit and ready to go, coming back that quickly. Sometimes you're going to come back that quick and you're going to get fatigue.
That's right.
So it's a hit and miss. I just wanted to point that out. I am using him, but this horse is, raced 2 days apart on the 2nd and the 4th.
There were actually a few horses on tonight's card that would have been similar to that, with like 2 and 3 days in between, had they raced, because we had lines that we didn't need to announce because those cards were canceled.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. Let's go to the 9th. 9th race kicks off the late double. There is a late scratch that we're getting here for the first time, and that's a scratch of the 10. So that horse will not go. Gets us down to a field 9, and you do have that horse, the 7, No Angel Like Me. We don't need to give you that line because that never happened.
The 10 horse, did you see his last 2 post positions?
I know. You see, and I mean, I might be calling in too and saying,
think so.
I ain't coming.
3 10s in a row.
3 10s in a row.
And I'm going to get on the icy roads?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
But, stick around, because this is a nice little race.
It
you
is.
got Captain Wanya in here, who gets Daddy back again. Speaking of having Dad's away and Dad's back, Trevor's going to drive him here tonight for Shannon. He beat Ghostly Casper, beat him last start, but he was right there too in the mix. So that's Captain Wanya. Like Chaos, I mean, where's this come from? He wins by the length of the stretch, essentially, in his most recent race, and they'll go back to Bruce Richardson's going to drive him tonight. He had Trevor drive him last start. Your brother's got one in here that's on the drop, Wild Turkey Hanover, who could be considered a contender. And my retirement dream, we saw him when he was 3 years old, and he had such a great 3-year-old campaign, right? And you know, he's getting a little older now, 5 years old now. But same people have him that had him since the beginning. They bred him, they own him, and they've been able to bankroll over $400,000 with him.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Okay, so my retirement dream, I threw him in for second. Interesting though, November the 23rd, second start down.
Yeah.
And then his last start, January the 4th.
Well, maybe
missed the entire month of December.
But he had a busy 2025.
Yeah,
31 starts?
but what I'm saying though,
Yeah.
is that he misses all that time, draws the 10 hole, makes a big move out of there, 3 wide around the last turn, and still finishes fourth. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
really a good effort.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw him in for second. I love the effort that he did, but I can honestly say I'm a little scared of a bounce.
Yeah.
That much time off, huge effort out of the 10 hole. Maybe we could be looking at a bit of a bounce. Ronnie Jr.'s horse, Wild Turkey Hanover, love the horse, but right now he just doesn't seem to be bringing his best mojo. I'm going to take a wait and see on him. Like Chaos, last week dropped down to the very bottom, and Bruce sent in a bridle change on him. He went from an open to a blind bridle and sent him
Lights
down
out.
the road. See you later. Now he's going to come back up in class, and he loses Trevor, and that is going to be my top pick in here. Captain Vanya with Trevor Henry. Trevor Henry, part owner of this guy. So, you know, that's the route that he's going to go. And I thought that he raced extremely well December the 22nd for Trevor. And then James last week for him up into the non-winners, the 9,000 class, comes up with 2 moves, big move out of there to get away in the deuce, another move around the last turn, finishes third in there, trots a mile in 56, now drops down from that into here. So I'm going to put him up on top. I think
too.
he's logical, but Spartan General, just to be careful, this horse brings a lot of back classes.
Yeah.
You guys can see that. And he was absolutely flying on the end of it. If you see the replay on this horse, I mean, he was absolutely flying on the end of it. But look at his card. This is the 3rd time in his last 6 starts where he's had the rail. And the other 2 times that he's had the rail, he's never made it away from the gate. He's jumped both times. Now back to the rail again in here tonight. So I put a caution on him. He's bringing the back class that he should be able to beat them. He had a great race in his last, but he doesn't seem like a horse that is good with the rail. And that's with one of our best trotting drivers. The guy that knows the horse the best is not able to get him away from the rail. And that just bothers me a little bit tonight.
I would imagine he'll pop in for a visit. He normally does.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see him coming. You know, no doubt about that. We'll see part of him
You're
coming
awful.
anyway.
You're awful.
Part of him will be coming around the corner.
Race number 10 is how we wrap things up with the jackpot high five, where the carryover is more than $22,000. And much like last night's finale on the program, where we all zeroed in on the Beau Ford horse. Hold on now, I know it, and it's kind of come. Dusty Lane Levi.
Yeah.
We were all over that one. I think it's kind of the same thing here in tonight's 10th race, because I think Rene Barrasa's got a monster in this spot with Ray's credit. Like, you go and you watch that last race that he had on January the 4th, and he looked like he like a firecracker, like, you know, popping in the final 16th of a mile.
Yeah, no doubt about that. He raced really good. My only I threw him in for second. My only caution is the 1 for 27.
I know, but we're gonna see it actually in this replay.
Yeah,
we'll
for
see
sure.
him, and we'll see the horse you wanted to
Right.
talk
Now,
about.
the horse that I like is a horse called Tour Champion. And one of the reasons that I kind of like him is we don't get to see too many free-legged pacers
Yes,
anymore.
I had that too.
Yeah, and this guy is. Now, he raced here a little while ago when Shives had him up here before. And Jody win a couple of races with him. And boy, did he ever look powerful. Looked like he was going to be a really nice kind of a colt. And, you know, he's just been kind of sporadic. But I thought this was a good one. He had the 9 hole, buzzed him out of there, stayed close, and finishes 4th in here, but only beaten a length and 3/4, the 9 horse. You can see him, Todd Ratchford driving, but Todd's doing the side to side. Does give him a little tap there, and what does he do? He moves forward, but he's such a big horse. There's too tight of an error, and then he snuffs him up right at the end. You would not believe how often a horse powers up at the end if you can just put the bit back in their mouth before the wire. You know what I mean?
I know
they
exactly
get
what
the
you mean.
confidence back going in that. I think that he's in a good spot. So Tour Champion's the way I'm going to go.
I have him for second. And in that last race too, on January 4th, he made a break behind the gate as well, and then managed to catch up with everybody. It was all good, but I had the same thing. You don't see too many free-leggeds, and what what was my other note? Oh, much better post position
Much
for him
better
to work
post
with here
position,
tonight.
yeah.
He's had the 9, the 7, and the 7, but the old boy, Ray's credit. I mean, he looked pretty phenomenal there in the late stages of that race. So I put 4 and then the 2. The 9 is another one I thought we could play in this spot, that being KJ Owen.
Agreed. I threw him in as well.
Yeah, so that's how we wrap up the 10 races on the program. We are going to show you some other tickets that we have on the night tonight. So a reminder of our early pick 5. This is the consensus ticket, and it is out on X if you happen to want to go over there and see it. But $16.80 is the price for
I think
ours
we
for
should
20
change
cents.
that last
Will
race.
you stop? You want to hit the all button again?
No, I just want to get a scowl
You
on
get your own ticket right here. Here's Randy's ticket. That's the next one that we'll put up. So Randy's playing it for $1 for $30. So that's good with a couple of keys. He'll key in the first and key in the 5th. Do we have any other early pick 5s that were sent in for tonight?
I would have
Well,
to
I have a
think.
late pick 5 because I did my work way ahead of time. So this is the if we get lucky and we hit the early, then we'll come back and we'll play the late. Now I did single the 4-horse in the last race.
Ooh, nice.
Just to be a little wacky, but you're right. I mean, I know he's wind shy, but that
He's good right now.
He looked pretty good in that last spot.
I got him in for second. I
All
see
right.
where you're going.
And then plays of the night is what we have next to pass along your way. I think you had a couple come through on
Yes.
last night's program. I had the one in the last race, but I mean, so did the rest of the world. So I don't get a pat on the back for that. My long shot yesterday got scratched, but I got a few wacky ones tonight.
Oh,
what
nice.
do you
Cool.
got?
Okay, so race 1, Stay Pumped, is Waples Watch. All in's going to be Mr. Bluebird with the shoeing change that Elisa brought up. Worth a Look is going to be race 8, and that's going to be Better Hold On Tight. And Beat the Favorite is going to be race 10, and that's going to be Tour Champion.
Okay, so I've got some wacky ones. I've got Always Be Sweetest, named after Randy Waples, in the 7th race. He's swift. Now, this is a real question mark horse tonight. If it comes in, I'm going to look like a genius.
Yeah.
If it doesn't, that's okay. But He's Swift is a horse who goes back into the Palaferoni barn.
Yeah, great
And
success.
You know what's interesting? I think they're the only ones who know how to get this horse to win races.
I'm not 100% going
no
to
offense,
disagree.
yeah.
And isn't he first start Lasix too?
He is back on Lasix.
Yes.
He's been on it before.
Yeah.
But he's qualified with Palaferoni, and now he's back racing for him here tonight. Now he does get that driver change going to Jameson, which I'm fine with. But like I said, there's something about this horse that he seems to have the key.
Yeah.
So I decided to go. Daddy's got the lines. That's Trevor. Trevor's back doing the driving tonight, and if he wants to sleep on the couch, then he knows what needs to get this guy home. We both like him, and that Ray's credit, I can't get over the last start. Maybe unfortunately that was the best he had to give, and he won't give it tonight. But if he does, we'll beat the favorite.
So
I
if
think.
you're looking to play a late pick 4, that is your late pick 4.
Yeah, well, I told you I like the back half of this card a little more than the first half.
7, 8, 9, 10.
I just
pick
couldn't
4.
whittle down a cheap ticket, like the ticket I wanted to pass along.
Right.
And again, this is all before we had the carryover. So I felt a little better about some of the horses in the later portion. Safe Conduct's a top selection from Ghislaine Paquette. That one's in the 3rd race, dealing with Dewey. Well, wouldn't that be an upset if Dewey was able to beat, Sarah was able to beat her dad here with that one at 9-2. And Let's Get Pickled is a top selection from Garnet Barnsdale. He's popular in the claim box, as we had mentioned. I think there was only one claim on last night's card, but there weren't a lot of price tags on yesterday's program. Let's see. I think that gets us through the night, Randy. That's good stuff. And we still have time to spare. I'm just hearing Jody in the paddock. Sounds like we got about 4 minutes to go before the opener on the program. There's 10 races in store for you tonight. Get your tickets in for that early pick 5. Reminded that the carryover is more than $44,000.